parents went through this and they did all this stuff for me. I'll be damned if I don't take an opportunity to try and live a better life.
Tough times don't last, bro. So tough people, there you go. Tough people do.
As long as you got your people with you, you got your family, you got your friends, you got people that you can depend on, you can always get back up.
Yeezy season approaching, fuck whatever y'all been hearing.
Right there.
Playing the game together. Dude, yeah, right. This guy was going home, playing the game all day, all night, and then coming in here and being like, oh yeah, I think this does this.
Hello everybody, my name is Alex. You have been watching the ZX Show, and this is the season finale of the ZX Show. If you notice, there's no guests, there's nobody. It's just straight up me. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you everybody that has been watching the show, that has been on the show, that has been listening to the show. All you guys support on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. All you guys' support has been nothing but blessings to me. I just want to say to all my fans who have been watching the ZX Show, it's weird to say my fans, but people that love watching the show, thank you guys for always telling me, coming up to me, and thank you guys for always DMing me and commenting and telling me how much you love the show, and telling me how you want to be on the show. I appreciate every one of those comments, and trust me, you guys that have been texting me, telling me, hey, can I be on your show? I'm going to put you on the show. That goes for the students as well. Thank you, everyone from Illinois Media School that has been watching, that has been supporting me, and has been on the guest, that has been a guest on the show. I mean, you guys, I just want to say, like, you guys at the school have been nothing but great to me. If you guys don't know already, I am an instructor at Illinois Media School, and I have been interviewing my students for the last few months, right? Last few months. And it has been a journey. I literally can't describe to you. Dude, like every single student that has been on the show has taught me so much. They have been so wise and so thoughtful in every answer they give, and knowing their background, you know, knowing their story and everything like that. It's been amazing. I can't put it in words. It has been amazing. It's been awesome. Just, you guys have been nothing but incredible to me. And I can't thank you guys enough for being on the show. This show's a little different. As you can see, I don't have no guests. I'm by myself. No, but I'm by myself. And this is weird. And in this house, I'm even alone. And I kind of go back to this because, you know, this is important because for the first time, I don't feel alone. While my struggles with, you know, loneliness has been, you know, being alone in a house. And sometimes that affected me because I don't even trust myself to be alone, to be honest with you guys. And doing the show has really helped me come over being lonely. That was been one of my biggest struggles, was dealing with loneliness. And to confidently say that in camera, even saying that, is weird, bro. It's weird. It's weird because dude, okay, it's crazy. Like, dude, it just, to me, it was never something I thought I would talk about. It was something that I thought I would talk about here and there. It was something I thought, like, you know, I would tell my cousins or tell my friends, like, hey, you know, you're good. You know, I've been through that. And that was kind of that. No, to actually talk about it, to actually speak up and talk to millions and thousands of people about something that I've been struggling with has been one of the weirdest journeys of my life so far. Like, I'm barely 21 and I've lived so many lives at this point. People say I have an old soul, and I've never seen it that way. I've just been living life, and the maturity came from supporting others that needed emotional support when I was, you know, young, and you know, adults that I considered adults at the time were coming to me for emotional in the stress moments. And that's probably why, like, in my eyes, that I see that I'm so, tent on, coming up with an answer and being so wise and giving advice out, because, and I watched a YouTube video on it too, which was crazy, a couple days ago, before the show even happened. It was weird. It was talking about how at a younger age, when you are there for an adult emotionally, it affects you when you're older, because you don't talk because you were the one that were listening. And I felt like that. I felt like I was the one listening and no one was there to really talk to, because I didn't find no one to talk to, about my problems. I didn't grow up like, oh, you're a man and da-da-da. I grew up knowing that I'm a man and I have to do all this because I seen it in my dad, and they always told me, the advice, when you're a man, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. It was never in a household where it was like, I mean, yeah, sometimes, I'll have my moments when I get in trouble and they won't tell me to cry because, men don't cry, right? And I'm not saying it was bad at all either. I was just saying that, it affects you in small ways when you're an adult or when you're becoming an adult. In my case, becoming an adult has been really strange to me because I never got so comfortable talking about my emotions until now. It's the weirdest thing. You never expect it to be so, relieving too. You expect it to be like people judging you, people looking at you, people, laughing at you or judging you. But no, it's quite the opposite. And I fairly love it because now there's millions of people now probably gonna come up to me now and be like, hey, I'm dealing with this. And I can be like, yeah, I feel you. Let's talk about it. And now I can do that in front of thousands and give a wonderful show about it. And I'm so happy about that. Genuinely. I'm super excited about that. My goal with this show is not to just do podcasting. I love podcasting, but it's not, the whole premise of this is to really, do something different. Do something the world has never seen before. And I'm going to do that. And I've told myself every day that I'm going to do that. The way I talk is the way I talk. ADHD is in me, and you're going to get a lot from me. Meaning, all my content, all the things I do, it's not just going to be podcasting, bro. I'm going to mess up people's heads because I know it's not going to just be podcasting. I already know. It's going to be a lot of other things, and I'm super excited. And so, if you want to know more about me, honestly, I'm just some Mexican kid who's 21 now, and I was just a troublemaker. I had no business being a troublemaker, but I was the biggest troublemaker you would ever see in a little 5-year-old. I was the one you couldn't leave alone, which is ironic. I could be the one that you could just, blink and I'll be there. Like, I would be everywhere and doing everything. And I'll be fighting people, fighting with little kids, all that. When I was younger, all I really remember was just playing video games. A lot of that and just fighting little other kids and enjoying myself and enjoying my life. And it was so cool. But it wasn't always like that, and I wish that's the story of it. But, that's how I remembered it. That's how I, in my mind, remember it. And looking back at it, my mom and my dad did so much for me to have that reality. And looking back at it, I do appreciate my mom and dad for that. Because I was kind of naive at the time when I was young. So looking back at it, I didn't know the struggles that my mom and my dad were going through. I didn't know, stuff with my grandpa or my grandma or anything like that. I didn't know nothing about the family until I got older. You know, my mom was 15 when she had me, right? She was 15. She is so beautiful, man. That woman, she has my smile. So if you love my smile, you love my mom's smile. She was so young, man. She was young, but she was so powerful. She had me when she was 15, and she just stuck it out. My mom was 15 when she had me, and she grew up in this regular old Mexican household, right? Hispanic. She always took care of us. Always took care of us. Always provided for us. Always was there. And she had to start doing that at a young age. And at the time when I was young, I didn't appreciate it because I didn't look at it this way. But she was 15 when she had me. So she was literally like raising a kid while being a kid herself. And sometimes I get mad at myself looking back at it, how I would treat my mom but didn't listen to my mom. But my mom was like 15, man. She raised me. My dad was in the picture, of course, and he was there, but because of her age and everything else, my grandma decided that they should separate for like a year. So the first year, I believe that my dad didn't have no communication with me, and I didn't know that, and that didn't affect me at all. It wasn't my dad's choice either. It was just like, this is wrong. This is what's going on. Like, I gotta protect my daughter. Like, and I understood that. So throughout like 1 through 5, it was just, I would just remember like my mom, my dad taking care of me, and I had the best childhood ever. Like, I had video games, I had toys, and I didn't know I was getting most of that stuff because both my parents were working their ass off. My mom had to step it up at such a young age. Like, she was 15 then. Like, by the time I was 5, she was in her 20s. And so that was always weird to me. That was definitely always weird to me to think about. Like, right now I'm 21, and by the time my mom was 21, I was probably like 6 or 5. And knowing that I enjoyed my life, right? I enjoyed my teenage. Like, I didn't know my mom did that. I'm interested to know my mom's story, and that's why also I'm excited to say, like, I really want to get my mom on the podcast and just talk about her life with me. But I didn't, like, all I knew was she was working, and that was all I was told, was she was working. And looking back at it, I couldn't imagine how my mom was going through that. Working from 15 years old to now she's like 30. I don't, she lies to me about her age, so don't judge me. I think she's like 35, 36. She's probably younger than that, I gotta say that. But my mom she's my glue. I was pretty much a hard ass with her. I gave her the most hard time, I want to say. And, I always wanted to tell her I'm so sorry. Because I didn't know the world when I was growing up. I didn't know the world. I didn't know anything. And I was very lost in my head. Like, my chemicals were unbalanced. You know what I mean? Like, I was derailed all the time. Like, I was just a wild cat. I felt really different. I did feel really different because I couldn't sit still. I was always in trouble. I didn't know why I was always in trouble. Like, I always felt like people had a problem with me and never had a problem with them. You know what I mean? Like, I put my mom through a lot. And, rather if I knew I was putting her on or not, my arrogance got in the way And, you know, my mom had to deal with that when I was, you know, growing up. You know, when I was, you know, and my mom always stuck it through. My mom always showed love. My mom always came to cook. My mom always came out for shift and took care of the family. I just want to say to my mom, like, I love you, and I would never, ever replace you. Like, my life is her life in a way. You know, this is probably her life if, you know, if I wasn't, you know, I don't know. That's how I think about it, you know. I think my mom, you know, is so proud because she knew that whatever she went through was not worth it. And to, dude, to even say that, it's even say that it's powerful in itself too. You know, I just want to say thank you, Mom, for everything. You know, you work so hard to bless me, and I want to thank my dad. And my dad is a different story. My dad is Moises Salazar. He'll tell you. My dad is such a character, bro. And I'm sorry if I'm going on and on, but like, my dad is a character. My dad is, you love him like in 1 hour. This guy has so much love. The guy would do anything for you. If he really loves you, if he really cares about you, he would try to do everything in his power to literally help you out. I'm not even serious. I'm serious. I'm talking to you directly. I am serious. My dad is the GOAT. Seriously, the GOAT. Like, my dad is seriously the GOAT. Because he always was there too. Him and I relationship was a little different. You know, I didn't like my dad at first. It was a relationship to get used to. Me and my dad never seen eye to eye before. Me and my dad had a lot of problems before because of his own problems, his own, you know, abuse. Not to me, but, you know, to himself. You know, alcohol runs really deep in my family, in my dad's side especially. And when I was younger, you know, he tried his best to keep it away, obviously, but it wasn't, you know, wasn't not obvious. And I remember being so hurt about it because I was so against it when I was young. I was so against drinking. I was so against getting hit. I was so against a lot. And that, you know, turned my relationship with my father. It did. You know, I love my dad. He was the best, and he always will be the best. But our relationship wasn't always perfect. And my mom's relationship wasn't always perfect. You know, to see us now, you know, it's, you know, we had our own problems. We were broken shit before we got fixed. And I cannot talk about myself without talking about my parents. I'm sorry. My parents are everything to me. My parents are like bread and like my bread, bro. If I don't have them, then my life is, I don't know what my life is, to be honest with you. I am also a believer in God. And that's something that I have things to say, millions of things to say, especially things I've never said out loud before. Like, my relationship with God, it's not the best. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not the best. You know, a lot of people be like, you know, they come up to you in these videos and be like, my relationship with God is so strong, and I just want to tell you, like, I can't tell you that. Because my relationship with God is, it's like this. And I don't want it to be like that. You know?